Okay, so hopefully I won't make this long, but I want to start this off first and foremost by saying rest in peace to Rizzy. No, I did not know her personally, but I am a person who deals with mental health and I know how ugly it can be. I'm also very transparent about my journey, as you can see right here, BPD Pisces. That's my Substack, where I talk about what it's like being a woman living with borderline personality disorder. And just after yesterday and everything that happened, I'll be honest with you, I cried off and on all day yesterday. I really wish that she would have had a friend like me. Um, because I would have at least convinced her to stay at least one more day. And the people that was on that live, everybody who was on that live, down to the person whose platform it was, did not have her best interest at heart. They decided to look at it as a joke, which is why I'm making this post. Funny enough, I wrote this article last month and I published it on my Substack, BPD Pisces, and it's called The Ugly Truth About the Mental Health Double Standard. And this whole situation is a perfect display of exactly what I mean. I feel like whenever it comes down to having a real honest conversation about mental health, we don't do that. We want to look a certain way. We want to appear as if we're caring about mental health, as if we're doing something about mental health by saying little cutesy stuff like mental health Mondays, check in on your strong friend, and all that type of stuff, right? But it's also a double standard because we see oftentimes, and I noticed specifically on this particular platform on TikTok, I noticed that a lot of us, well, not even us, because to be honest with you, I don't get nothing out of this, but a lot of people love to watch the train wreck. I'll give you a prime example. The situation that happened with Kendra. Kendra and the therapist situation. It got to a point to where I started blocking people because people were so fascinated about it and they just could not get enough of it, right? Or let's talk about Shay, the Apple Store girl. Regardless of how you feel about her and the things that she has done and the things that she has been through, people get some sort of enjoyment out of talking about her, down to where she had got evicted at one point, and one creator had the nerve to go to where she had got evicted from and give everybody on TikTok a tour. It was the most disgusting thing. And I'm not even talking about the living situation. It's the fact that somebody actually went that far. And clearly you could tell this sister's dealing with something mental. We say check on your strong friends and mental health is real and mental health matters, but when it comes down to it, oftentimes we don't show that for real. We are selective with that, and that shit has got to stop. It's got to stop because that whole situation that happened with Rizzy was preventable. It should have never went there. I've even seen somebody will get mad at someone else because they disagree and they'll automatically start attacking them on their mental health. Oh, you're bipolar, you're this, you're that. Y'all sit and y'all throw these names around as if it's casual, as if it's funny, and a lot of times y'all don't even know what that shit really fucking means. You know how many of us are really struggling out here? How many of us out here really got a diagnosis out here? And it's so disheartening because we live in a world where in 1 second it's, oh, we're for the mental health, da da da. Then at the next second, as soon as you get mad or you feel a certain way, you're going to go and weaponize it against that person. I see it happen on here every day, especially on this app. Let me tell it, I think y'all the ones that's sick. Because as I stated before, for somebody to actually go the routes, go through the proper channels to seek therapy, to get a diagnosis, to understand what they are living with, what they are dealing with, that is a person who loves themselves immensely, even if they don't feel like it. And half of y'all got all these skeletons in y'all's closet, are afraid to go get a diagnosis because you seeing it on paper or putting a name to it makes it that much more real. And y'all actually sit and y'all ridicule people. And this got to stop. Like I said yesterday, you can't bully me. I have BPD. Okay? And I'm not even going to go and take it any further because if I take it any further, this post will not make it to your FYP. I'm a cold piece of work. I personally got a little bit too much buck in my system. Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know what I've been through. Y'all don't know how I got to this state. And for me personally, the day that I actually learned about my diagnosis was the day I got to really learn myself completely. It all made sense to me. And let's also be clear. once you do go through those proper channels, or you do go and you get a diagnosis, you still have a choice to make. Because you can let ego set in and be like, nah, this ain't me. Nah. Or you could be real with yourself and start researching and ask yourself, do I fit this description? See, the moment that you can be real with yourself, it's like a huge weight is lifted off of your shoulders. So imagine being a person who has done that much work with themselves to find out what is going on and to do what they need to do so that they could live better. And then you're invited on a platform and they're laughing at you. That sister was on there and said that she was essayed by a therapist. First of all, do you know how heavy that is? The act of that alone, which I've experienced, destroys you. It's absolutely devastating. But to have a therapist do that to you, and then you got other black women on this platform telling you that you're lying, yeah, that'd push anybody off the edge. Everybody on that live is responsible. Everybody, including whose platform it was, which I found interesting, is that yesterday she actually did a video saying that she was going to take a break. Why you need to take a break now? Huh? Your mental messed up? Imagine how she felt. Y'all sitting up there laughing at her. And this sister's in pain. We love to watch people in pain, and that is some shit that has got to stop. Again, I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time, but like I said, if you want more on mental health, the mental health experience, as I stated, I have borderline personality disorder, and I take that shit very serious, and I write about it. And I also do art therapy, which is why I do so many different things, which is why if you go and you actually get something from my company, for me, you're actually supporting my mental health, because for me, it's an art form. Yeah, I make soaps and things like that. It's an art form. I do paintings and stuff like that. For me, it's art. Art is very, very healing. For me, writing is also a form of art. And while I do have my main site that I've had since 2009, this right here, this Substack right here, this is where I'm speaking strictly on mental health. And it goes past BPD. As I said yesterday, I have major depressive disorder that's reoccurrent. I get into a lot of things. I have PTSD. PTSD so bad that my mind has like blacked out. Some parts of my mind is just blacked out. Okay? Horrible, crippling anxiety. And I'm still here. So, thank you guys for attending my TED Talk. Let this situation be your reason as to why you are kind to people, because you never know what somebody is going through. And a simple act of kindness might convince somebody to stay here one more day.